I am to report around 40 minutes ago. I could not say a word at the time because she is a target of the same people associated with the Biden family and the Trump family. Islamic terrorist. She's a target of them, the female cannibal of 1509 ISIS terrorist cell. And she is a target of the Mexican military who attacked the country of Russia, set up by Putin to attack his own country in the same fashion as what has been going on in my country. And that is to explain how these people in the Mexican military are so involved with the Islamist terrorists, if you need an answer. Okay, so I ran water, did dishes, and she comes storming in from upstairs because there's cubby holes, okay? Nobody was here for fucking hours. No TV, nothing. Nobody's here. And she doesn't turn the TV on or do any of the glitz and glam when she's in here. And I ran a considerable amount of water, so it took her a while to come racing in. I got the impression they're trying to not be in here because there's a pussy, pitiful, pathetic planned attack on the continent of Europe by Biden, Trump, Putin, and the Ukrainian military, so on and so forth. It should be in less than an hour, and it won't happen again. It'll never happen. These clowns go around and around and around with no real plan, except, of course, to get more drugs. Okay, so you should start to really see the drug addiction show on Zelensky within another 6 months. Until then, let Zelensky go on every last TV show he can. Let him sing and dance and wave his hands around at Eurovision. Eurovision headlines are because they have this fantastic, spectacular, planned attack on Europe, which won't even happen. This is a clown military. This defecting, derelict group of cooping military from the United States who attacks the actual real military that never violated the Constitution here or ever dreamt to do that, but who were attacked by a cooping fraction, and the cooping fraction did this for white power to take it in my country by violent force. This same group of cooping military is in Europe, also trying to attack Russia and whoever stands against them or in their way. They have their hands on serious weapons of mass destruction, and they're holding United States bases around the world and in my country hostage, like they hold the office of the president down there. He's not even legally the freaking president. I could type some sort of manifesto of how I'm going to cut his head off, and they couldn't do anything except give me for nothing. I could do it because I have legal agent badge, and I'm an agent. The GRU did that for me, but they haven't been able to tell me that, but I'm on the books some sort of agent. I could say I'm going down there to arrest him. I wouldn't really write a manifesto of how I'm going to cut his head off. This is just figurative analogy. In fact, who's going to factually do that, it's very possible, are his own terrorists who he's involved with, the Saudi Arabian ISIS terrorists who he is involved with. Absolutely are prone to do that. It's absolutely on the table. Not Biden's head, but it could literally be his head on the table. Yeah, they'll leave it there. But I mean, the fact that they would decapitate Biden, that's all they do here. Okay, that's his sole job as he holds the office of president hostage. He has no legal power. Nobody does. It's certainly not him, okay? He's been back and forth proving with all the arrests that they've made this whole time that this has been going on for 2 years. Straight up fucking urban warfare and combat here. And then the Pentagon is really who's doing it, and Putin who controls the Pentagon. Putin controls the cooping military in my country. Putin has control over that. If people are wondering why there's so much good Russian military here in our country, it's because they joined forces as allies with the good U.S. military who never attacked anybody. They weren't even thinking to do that. They were just doing their job Monday through Friday, and suddenly all the Saudi Arabian traitors amongst them and the white officers amongst them joined together out of blue and said, we're going to attack you, we're cooping, we want white power here, we're going to give our sovereign territory, we've decided, illegally through violent force to Saudi Arabia because Bill Clinton said so. I mean, it's so fucking flying colors illegal. I don't care, because they can't get anything going for 5 years. How hard they have convinced themselves that this is okay. It's okay because it's in our Constitution to fight for liberty. It's okay because it's in our Constitution to join militias, to fight in a revolution. You don't fight in a revolution just because you say it's okay, because you just get yourself in a military job. You're on a freaking military base. You've been through boot camp and you're an actual legitimate official. And you decide, oh, I want Saudi Arabia to run my military. This really has a lot to show for how insane the Americans were. This was before they got hooked on drugs. Around the time this cooping military tried to attack the good guys in a planned 7-day assault that failed because of the generals who have made me an agent. I am an agent. That makes sense because of the way I've been conducting myself. No, but I actually have an agent title. So I could, just to not pivot too much, I could type in writing, I'm going to go down, I'm going to go arrest Biden, and I could put in written statement. And if I have to, like here, this is in quotes for an example, I could write, if the case be that I must kill Biden during my arrest of the terrorist who's leading an insurrection against my country, the United States of America. Okay, end quote. So there's your quote, okay, in quotes. There's no legal prosecution for me. I could write it, publish it on the internet. The guy's a fucking criminal. He's waiting to be physically fucking arrested. Do you hear me now? Okay? All this shit is for TV. So Zelensky, before his drug addiction really starts to show, which should be in about 6 to 9 months, enjoy your TV shows, dude. But they have a planned attack. And that's on Europe. So that's why they keep running all the Eurovision. And this has also to do with satellites and a lot of high-tech weaponry like in this house, which is why this terrorist cell is literally walking distance from the White House. Don't forget this crucial point, and why the Pentagon protects it so much. So the Pentagon brought in Ukraine here, brought in freaking enlisted Russian military here, and now right now this phase that we're in is all freaking law enforcement all the time, and they're coming in groups of 5. Law enforcement today, it was 4 times worse, the assault of law enforcement. This is U.S. citizens in city and federal payroll tax ID jobs as law enforcement. I have some sort of agent title too, and they were trying to earlier today with the border patrol, ICE, big, those guys. There's some other freaking law enforcement that has to do with immigration. They were trying to arrest the GRU and any Israeli and anybody from another country that was fighting a literal ISIS terrorist cell that makes fucking bombs. So I really want to get this over, how desperate this has become. But thank God most of the Ukrainian and Russian military are out of here. The Ukrainian are basically on the same category as a lot of the cooping military of the United States. They're not like really making my heart beat. But there is some of the U.S. evil military enlisted that would be really frightening, but they're not in really large numbers, okay? What frightens me, but God always tells me that there's really no reason to be, because the good guys have it under control. They're not done and finished until this evil enemy is killed. But these are foreign fighters. They're from the Middle East and they're from Europe, some of Russia. And don't get me on where, but they're extremely dangerous, okay? And those are the people that you'll find me hiding in my room from, which is what I'm doing tonight for an undisclosed amount of time. And the reason for that is because I saw one of their terrorists here, okay? And I know I just did a whole pizza pie and I threw everything all on the pie, just blah, 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 blah. And it might have been hard to make sense of what I was just billowing out here, but I'm glad I did it the way I did it, because I hit everything on the pizza pie, and here you go, okay? So you understand now. If you need to, review what I said, because it actually made sense the way I laid it out for you. Which brings me to my case at hand, is this female, and that is my report. I saw the white female cannibal terrorist, okay? I've seen her last whereabouts. She's still here, and she's still making bombs. Now, she tried to come in and not be seen or heard or anything. That's why there was no glitz and glam behind her with the TVs or anything to hear her. She snuck in. I was told to go to do this, what I did with the water, and my set time, I was told by Jesus to stay in that room. I was told when to open the door, the precise second to open the door, and look what I did when I opened the door. Okay, this was after I ran water for the certain time I was supposed to run the water and flush the toilet. Okay, the house is silent. The house is empty the whole time before. Oh, this is hours before. And during, while I was doing dishes, I mean, this is the whole time. And then after, okay, I came back in here and then we counted. I counted on my timer about 6 minutes. And then it was my timer down to the seconds, and this was when I was supposed to open my door, okay? To give you some insight. And I opened my door, and she was going down the stairs in the pitch black hallway, sneaking, creeping as quietly as possible. I saw, with the whites of my eyes, by no mistake, the female terrorist that, I won't even say her name, she's such a disgrace. The female terrorist that ingests and cooks human remains after cutting up the dead bodies. She was making bombs by no doubt. She was managing them, trying to be as quiet and not seen as possible. If it wasn't for Jesus having me set the timer and telling me to open the door at exactly that time, I would never have seen her sneaking past my door in the dark, the pitch black, dark hallway. She snuck down the stairs. And then I had another set time to go do the same thing, go wash some more dishes, run water, blah, blah, blah. At that point, there's nobody there. The house is empty. Everybody's gone. The reason why she wants to hide and not be seen, and the reason why everybody's gone, is because they believe in less than an hour they're attacking Europe. They're not going to. They won't get anything done. And these idiots will be back in here doing everything again the same tomorrow. And so will Zelensky on the TV. As long as they have their drugs, they think they can figure out another plan that will always fail. Might I mention, their plans never work. Only thing they do is keep going on TV. Okay, as I say, and I will close with this, when the good military finally acts, it'll be an answer to prayer, because it's so easy to see. A second grader could see who to strike, who needs to be struck with missiles.